Bro, I'm low-key faded, bro.
Highway.
What's this guy supposed to be, the ultimate badass?
They ain't ready. They ain't ready, Jim. They ain't ready. Here we go.
I'm gonna go Almond around here, guys.
I was like, what is it? You ain't Mexican. What is that?
Kind of mercy a little bit though, so I dig a little deep in there, right? But yeah, he's got that. He did that. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of the Frisco Report. We are live, and in effect, we have a great show tonight. We're talking about the main topic of topics. It's time, bro. The Matt Eberflus replacement discussion, bro. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the Frisco Report. Joe, what's going on with you, dude?
Yeah, man. It's what's on everybody's mind. You know what is going to happen with the defense? It's clearly the number one thing that is holding back this team. Right. So Schottenheimer said that he was going to ride it out. Who knows if that's really true, if that's really what's going to happen here. Eberflus has the biggest endorsement in the room, though. The Jones family. I mean, these are the guys that brought him in. You know, this wasn't a Schottenheimer hire. So he has the Joneses in his corner, Mike. So first of all, before we get into possible replacements, Mike, and then we'll talk about this real quick. Does Eberflus survive the season, or what are you predicting here happens to Eberflus?
I think if the Commanders and the Broncos beat us before that bye week, or it's the Cardinals, I can't remember, but the next two games, if they lay the egg that they laid up against the Panthers, I think he gets fired in 2 weeks. I think he gets fired before the bye week.
Yeah, no, I despite so Jerry Jones gave the kiss of death, saying that the whole thing about I want him in this hole. He had this whole thing before, and it usually is a hint that this person is on the way out. Anytime he said this thing about I wouldn't want anybody else in the foxhole or this and that, they're doomed, bro. So it's a kiss of death. Even though this was a Jones hire, maybe Steven, who knows? But I just don't see this going the full distance like this, bro. There's just no way. And we've seen them do the substitutions, benchings, this sorts of things. So there is nothing else left to do. I mean, there's people coming out with videos about, with 5 things they can change. I mean, there's nothing else they can change. I mean, it's delusional at this point, Mike. It's whether it's. I mean, I think it is a combination of talent and coaching, but coaching is definitely the hugest part of this whole issue, Mike. Is Eberflus.
Yeah, man. And it's not only like benching players and doing that stuff. 2 weeks ago, what was it? We're going to simplify the defense, right? We're going to make it a one-word defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then the reporter asked Schottenheimer after that Panthers game, dude, they said, do you have the personnel to run Matt Eberflus' scheme? The obvious answer is no. So if we don't have the personnel to run the Matt Eberflus scheme, what personnel do we have and what scheme can we run with the guys that we have? You can't turn over 11 guys for one defensive coordinator who has no control, no thumbprint on anything. And so I would rather turn over the coach than a turnover 11 players, because majority of these guys, Deron Bland, Trayvon Diggs, Osa, Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, Y.A. Thomas even, these guys excelled under who? Dan Quinn. just a few years ago. These guys played better under Mike Zimmer than they are doing right now under Matt Eberflus. So it's not the players, it's the scheme. Get Matt Eberflus the flip out of here.
Yeah, he's the he is public enemy number one. Right, under Al Capone, it is Matt Eberflus, right, Mike? So
That's right.
That being said, I think we're on the same page as that. I don't think he survives the season. So, and you said, simplify. Anytime they say simplification or this thing, red flag city. Then the thing about it too, Mike, remember in the preseason, there was questions about it, and Schottenheimer said, "Oh, we're running vanilla. Everything's vanilla right now." Well, what the heck have they been running? Yeah, how far? You know what I mean? Like how more simplified could you possibly go? It's a cop out. He's trying to buy time for this guy, probably to the bye week, like we're thinking here, Mike. So let's get into that, man. Give me your thoughts. We're going to talk about in-house options, in-season options, and then I'm going to give you some that could be possible candidates in the offseason at the end of the year, Mike. So go ahead and kick this thing off.
Yeah, there's only really one in-house candidate, Joe. And there's really not a lot to pick from. I mean, we talked about this 4 weeks ago here on this channel about what coaches go where. I mean, you got Curtis, you got Andre Curtis, you got David Overstreet, you got Aaron White Cotton, the defensive line guy. I don't think any of these guys can have a thumbprint on what this team needs. If you look at Brian Schottenheimer and you look at the energy that he brings on offense, it works, and it works well. If I'm going to go with the guy here, I'm going to go with one of the youngest guys on the team. I know, but only for an intern spot. And then going to the next year, then we could talk about replacing him, or if he does a good job, maybe even keeping him. But I'm looking for somebody young. I'm looking for somebody that could possibly be energetic. I'm talking about Darian Thompson, all right? He played for us. He was a big special teams guy. He's been a linebackers coach. He's been a nickel secondary coach for us here over the last couple of years. If I'm going to go with the young, energetic defensive coordinator that can relate to players and not a stubborn guy who learned over, let's say, a Rod Marinelli, I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with taking those bumps and bruises with a younger guy like Darian Thompson, because I think players will buy in more to this younger, upbeat guy than let's say an Aaron White Cotton or any of these Andre Curtis, any of these older guys. Give me Darian Thompson. I know that's not a popular pick, but I would pick Darian Thompson.
Yeah, he's definitely on the staff, like you said, Mike. Younger player. It'd be interesting to see, what does he have it here as far as like schematically to run this type of thing, But man, it just seems like the Cowboys, and then this was a front office move. Berlin is asking about this. This was Jerry and Steven. It seems like they cannot get away from this Garrett era crap. And the Garrett era crap is Marinelli, even Kiffin. Yeah, Monte Kiffin, Rod Marinelli, and now here we are with Eberflus. These are holdovers from the Garrett era, bro. Like, be done with this junk already, bro. Like, the Marinelli bend, don't break. It's break and break, right? There is no bending. It comes broken. So, yeah, change has to be made, man.
And Nate Dogg, to answer your question, yes, Darian Thompson did coach for Dan Quinn. He was under Dan Quinn from 2021 to 2023. So he knows what works and what don't. I would fire Eberflus and promote a young guy like Darian Thompson.
Yeah, he was under Dan Quinn, and that seemed to be the system that worked well for these guys, obviously. So it is interesting to see what they're going to do here, Mike. You're mentioning the intern. That's probably what it'll be. If they cut Eberflus at the bye, you make the change, you make the announcement, whether it's Thompson or whoever, and you were the first top of this, Mike. We covered it here in the Frisco Report. Eberflus was very particular in who he brought off as far as like, you know what? I'm not going to bring anybody in here with DC coordination experience. They want to get rid of me. This is going to be hard. So we talked about here. You brought that up, Mike, and we talked about the roster, the coaching roster, and you nailed it right on the head here, man. So they don't do like, could it be White Cottony? I mean, the Jets didn't want him, right?
Right.
The front seven isn't even all that good. Like the choices are just scarce, bro, where it's almost like maybe they do let this dude ride it out. I mean, who knows, bro? But that's a name to keep an eye on. I do like that, Mike. Cowboys, they like familiarity, right? And that's kind of like the whole thing with their coaching hires and that sort of thing, Mike. So do you have any other names?
No, not anything for internal, but we do got a super chat here from Mike. He said, "Yo, Michael and Joe, appreciate you both for always keeping it real. Who do you think is responsible for hiring Eberflus, Schottenheimer, or Steven and Jerry?" I'm going to say, while Joe's dealing with that, I'm going to say Jerry and Steven are responsible for hiring Matt Eberflus, because if you've seen him, he left the Cowboys to go to Indianapolis. He went from Indianapolis to go be the head coach of the. Oh, you there, Joe? No, he ain't back yet. So Jerry and Steven were pretty high on him before he left to they're pretty high on him before he went to Indianapolis to be their defensive coordinator. He got promoted from Dallas to go over there. So I'm going to say this is a Jerry and Steven hire, because I don't think they want him to leave in the first place when he left in like 2017 or 2018.
And that's how the Cowboys do it, right, Mike? They always have the for whatever reason, they like to have the other coordinator already in place. So maybe it'll be different here. So, Mike, let's talk about some off-season moves. Let's say that nothing happens, or maybe they do the internship, but at the end of the day, at the end of the season, we got to hop on this quick because there's going to be job openings everywhere. McCarthy's probably going to be back in the coaching somewhere. He's going to be looking for a defensive coordinator. It's going to be very competitive landing a defensive coordinator who knows what the hell they're doing and that will fit the Cowboys roster. So let's talk about that. I'm going to pull up a screen here, and we'll talk about it. Let me see. Let's do this here. We're going to share this right here. And we're going to talk about a few names here, bro. We're going to talk about a few names here. And I'm going to talk about the connection. These aren't just pulled out of thin air, Mike. So, obviously, we'll go from the top here, the very first one here. That is Wade Phillips, former Cowboys head coach, Mike. The connection here, Marty Schottenheimer, that was his defensive coordinator with the Chargers, right? And Brian Schottenheimer was on that staff as a quarterbacks coach. So the familiarity is there. Wade Phillips, even I think the season that Mike Nolan was bombing out, he offered to come in here and help the Cowboys. So he would not have any problems coming back here to help the Cowboys out. And like I said, Schottenheimer, Wade Phillips, very strong ties there, Mike. So that's a possibility. Also gives you the option of 3-4, bro. Like I've been saying, this team is ripe for a change of the scheme. You can barely run a 4-3. So at this point, it is going to be on the table as far as like, do you go back to the 3-4? You know what I mean? So if you do that, you have a 3-4 guru here and Coach Wade Phillips. The next one, Mike, over here on the right of Wade Phillips, Eric Mangini. All right. The connection here, the Jets, right, Mike? So Eric Mangini was the head coach. Brian Schottenheimer was the up-and-coming hotshot offensive coordinator for the Jets under Eric Mangini. He, too, is a 3-4 coordinator. He also runs a 4-3, so he kind of gives you that hybrid. He can run either of those, which I think would be good in today's NFL, a hybrid 3-4, 4-3 defense. All right. So there's the connection there with those two men. All right. On the right of that, Mike Pettin. All right.
Ooh, I've heard that name before.
Mike Pettin has been a very, very successful coordinator, defensive coordinator in this league. Right now, he is with where is he at? He is in the league right now as an assistant. I want to say I think the Vikings possibly, if I'm correct.
Yes, he's a linebackers coach for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. So, and the Vikings, has historically had a pretty good defense. So Mike Pettin,
I remember him from the Browns. Wasn't he the head coach for the Browns?
He was the Browns head coach for a while there.
Yes.
But very sound defense, 4-3 guru in Mike Pettin. And then let's go down the screen here some more. We get to this bottom level here. And these are in no particular order. I just want to go over the top ones where the familiarity was. You have a familiar face here in Al Harris, Mike. This is another one if you want to get a Dan Quinn type of disciple.
Energetic
guy, a guy who really, I thought he coached up the secondary relatively well, when he was with Dan Quinn. So does he's 50 years old, currently with the Chicago Bears as an assistant. So he's familiar with the roster, familiar with the Jones family. I think he even interviewed at one point during the coaching process. So he would be somebody in the mix, Mike. Al Harris. I think like you said, you need a younger guy in here who can connect with these guys, kind of like you mentioned, Darian Thompson. Al Harris is one here. Sticking with the same type of, sticking with similar scheme, Gus Bradley. All right.
Ooh.
He is a Dan Quinn disciple over there with the Seattle Seahawks. If you remember Gus Bradley, it earned him a coaching hiring with the Jaguars at one point. But he too has run pretty good defenses wherever he's been at. Right now, he's an assistant head coach with the 49ers. He doesn't have the defensive coordinator title over there, but he is on staff with them. He's just sitting there as an assistant head coach. He's not a play caller, so he's there just dangling. He would be a good fit, Dan Quinn type of system. Get it going, right? Here's a familiar name here. Bill Belichick, bro. Looks like things are going sideways there in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He's probably going to be on the way out. It looks like a complete disaster there. And he's going to have to rehabilitate himself. I don't think he comes back in the NFL as a head coach. I think if he wants to coach again, it's going to have to be as a defensive coordinator. You know what I mean? He'll have to humble himself a bit, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Will he do it? Who knows? But he is an option there, and he gives you that 4-3-3-4 option. And he's one of the best coordinators that have ever done it. Under Bill Parcells, you're getting a Parcells disciple there, Mike.
And just to add to that, what we're lacking, and we talked about this just a couple of weeks ago too, we're missing the Jason Garrett scouting experience. Bill Belichick will bring you the scouting experience back to the coaching room and might teach Schottenheimer something. And he might teach Will McBus something.
Yeah. No, that's true. He's there defensively. He's really good at talent evaluation. Got that from Parcells. And you said it well, Mike. That's what they're missing there. You know what I mean? They have not been drafting well defensively. And for all the things that McClay, supposedly a defensive guy and this and crap, that's the worst part of their drafting. We've seen them do better offensively. Defensively, they've missed so many draft classes. Eventually something will stick. I mean, they did that with Parsons. But the most part, it's been a disaster, bro. So he'll be in here. He could be in the mix if he's let go at North Carolina. you have to bring him in here, bro. You have to have a good search. You know what I mean? And it has to be the guys that have skins on the wall, bro. You know? And the last one here, Mike, Jim Schwartz, a very stout 4-3 coordinator. Right now, he's the interim head coach with the Browns. The Browns just let go of Stefanski. So Jim Schwartz, he's going to finish that out and see if he can earn himself a head coach gig there, or maybe, they clear everything out and he's freely available.
Wasn't he the defensive coordinator for the Eagles when they won their Super Bowl a few years ago?
I think he was. Actually, I think you're right, man. I think, it was in like 20. When was that? 20 COVID year. I don't remember, but I think you're right.
I think it was 2017, wasn't it?
the first time they went in there. Yeah, he's definitely one of these the top ones. In 2023, he was given the award of NFL.
Yeah, he was a defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2018.
Yeah,
he helped that defense win their Super Bowl.
And the defense is pretty good. The Browns have a pretty good defense. They're the opposite of we have. They have a good defense, a crappy offense. We are just missing that piece on defense. You bring Schwartz in here,
that changes it, dude.
We're in contention, bro. we're in the thick of it, man. Not only in the division, but in the conference. So, man, we're missing that piece, bro. So these are guys to keep them in mind. Like I said, Schwartz, Belichick, Bradley, the Dan Quinn guy.
Dude, I'm going to be honest with you, Joe. If I'm looking at your list, what's the fantastic list? It all makes sense. I would have Jim Schwartz as my number one choice, Bill Belichick my number two, and Mike Pitton my number three. Those would be my 1, 2, and 3, Joe.
Yeah, and honestly, bro, I'll be quite honest. I will take any one of these guys over what we have right now, and no BS, man. But for the modern day defense, I think Jim Schwartz really has a good grasp of this.
Yes.
As far as keeping up to date with the current offenses that are out there, he's a solid coordinator, man. I think he gets the most out of the players, which Eberflus, that's not his deal, man. He is not getting the best out of these players, and you need that type of guy, like a Wade Phillips. He gets the best out of his guys. You talk to any of the Cowboys defenders when he was here, they loved him. DeMarcus Ware loved him. Spencer, all these guys, would run through a wall for him. You know what I mean? And so I think Schwartz and these kinds of guys are like that, man. Gus Bradley, I've heard good things, similar things about him as well. Dan Quinn disciple, like I said. So these are guys to keep an eye on at the end of the season. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting, but it's got to happen. There has to be a change, Mike.
Who would be your 1, 2, 3? Who would be your top 3 candidates out of this bunch here, Joe?
I think my number one candidate would be Schwartz would be one. Mm-hmm. Bradley would be 2 for me. Pettin, Wade Phillips. Mangini, I just have the connection there. I don't even know if he's interested in playing in coaching anymore, but he's pretty good defensively, man. Yeah, he's a Belichick guy, right? So, yeah, man, those would be my number one. My number one would be Schwartz.
My number one is Schwartz too. Oh man, yeah, that would totally change the game, dude. You got Schottenheimer running the number one offense. You got Jim Schwartz. Kind of reminds me of like a Dan Quinn type guy. Didn't really pan out as a head coach. Won a Super Bowl like Dan Quinn did. He won it with Seattle. He won it with Eagles. Bring him in here and let's go to work, dude.
They need a stabilizing coach in here, someone that leads the locker room, that leads the men. And I think all these guys would do that. Would do that. Some definitely have a better connection than others, but you need that leadership on that side of the ball, bro. Yeah, we don't have that right now.
No, not at all. Yesterday on Fifth Quarter Cowboys show, Joe, let me ask you this. If there was one player that you would get rid of right now on that defense? With everything that's happened between the start of training camp all the way to now, what player would it be?
Sam Williams, bro. Sam Williams is my number one guy. This guy is a knucklehead. He's a step too slow, and and Eberflus is still giving him these opportunities, bro. Like it is maddening, dude. I cannot. I mean, he's got to get out of here, bro. Both of them.
My guy, Joe, Trayvon Diggs. Hear me out. He got fined for the offseason work, which I stuck up for him for, but it still happened. He was on Parsons' shoulder like the angel and the devil, talking about players who got signed, da-da-da-da. Now that when Parsons got traded, dude, he acted like a little girl. And then what happened? He got suspended a quarter, Joe, or a starting series, right? They benched him for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Is Trayvon Diggs the Lucifer of the locker room, bro? And what I mean by that is like the heaven story. He's trying to replace God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is Trayvon Diggs the cancer in the locker room, bro?
Man, that's a good question, dude. I would hope not. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't get that vibe from him, but only the players would know that, and the coaches, right? So they would know that, and if they know that, then they would move on from him. Obviously, you know what I mean. You can't have that here. You can't have somebody who's contaminating the well. You can't have a player like that. That's why, as good as some of these players are around the league, they teams will move on from them. You know, the Eagles moved on from TO. The 49ers moved on from TO. We moved on. So at some point, sometimes these guys are really good, but they just have a thing about contaminating the well. You know what I mean? There's certain players that are like that, you know. And I don't know if he is that, you know, but I think, man, you have to bring in somebody that has an eye for talent, because it can't just be McClay making these defensive selections and pro personnel moves, bro. That has not been working. That's scary, dude. Like if they don't get the right defensive coordinating coach in here, dude, we're gonna be picking up more crappy free agents. We're gonna be missing and whiffing on other defensive draft picks, and we have a lot of first round picks. You know, we can't be missing on those.
4 in 2 years.
Can't miss on them, dude. We cannot miss on those picks. So.
No. We can't have another freaking Mozzie Smith trade, dude.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot of that, dude. It's been a lot of risking it for no reason. Get the talent in here, man. Talent over risk is the way I would go. You know what I mean? No more Kelvin Josephs. No more Sam Williams. No more even Siobhan Ravel with the freaking already injured. I mean, stop that. You know, they need to get back to reality and start hitting on the second round, man, because that's an early pick, dude. Your second rounder should be heavily involved in big time, you know, contributors, not question marks. We have too many question marks there. You know what I mean, Mike?
Oh, we really do. And Sandburn, if you break it down, Joe, Sandburn's a backup player in a starter role. I mean, you said it in your video. Great freaking video. You guys go watch it if you haven't already. Kenneth Murray, a backup linebacker in a starting role.
Yeah.
If Overshown comes back, he will be literally the only starting caliber linebacker that we have. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys right now, dude, I'm calling Eric Kendricks back. Seriously, I'm calling Eric Kendricks back just to get some type of veteran presence in here, because these guys, man, they're not working out, and they haven't been. I mean, they look like junior varsity freshmen guys trying to go tackle, and they're tackling like they're scared. You can't be scared of football. You gotta hit somebody, dude.
Somewhere along the line, they didn't buy in, you know, and maybe during this whole kerfuffle with McCarthy, maybe they were told, "Oh, we're gonna bring back so and so." And maybe that didn't happen, and it burned some bridges here, or created some distrust I don't know what happened, bro, but they did not buy into Eberflus at all. Zero. Nobody. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I got it wrong. I thought the linebacker core was the strength of this team, and it's the complete opposite, Joe. Damone Clark was a training camp warrior. Maris Liufau still learning the position. But he would be next. He wouldn't be like an overshown caliber starter, but he's up and coming, I think. Damone Clark's a lost cause. Sam Burns a lost cause. And Kenneth Murray Jr. is a lost cause. I think we lost Buddy Johnson. I think the Giants picked him up on the practice squad. We lost good talent on the roster because we went with these bums.
Yeah, they're missing. They're missing like a player like a LVE, bro.
Yeah,
Wolf Hunter. That guy had size, had speed. We don't have enough speed in these linebackers. The secondary, you're missing that physicality from even Jordan Lewis. That's a big loss. That was a bigger loss than I think we thought. You know what I mean? Like filling that void. They haven't filled it. You know. So yeah, they've lost some big time players and filled it with a bunch of third stringers, bro.
But they did.
With some XFL, UFL talent, even. So it's wild around here right now.
Yeah, no, it ain't good, dude. It ain't good at all, man. And it's only. I think I don't think we've seen the worst of it. Believe it or not, I really don't. I think it's gonna be. I think there's only like leaders like Kenny Clark, excuse me. There's only so much that this guy ain't used to this mentality here on this defense. You're going to start seeing a shift, dude, in that defensive locker room. If Trayvon Diggs started it on this side, I think there's going to be another guy on this side, and that locker room is going to be divided, bro. If they don't fire Eberflus, they're going to lose this whole entire locker room eventually.
No, it'll spread. Yeah, it'll spread like wildfire. So they I don't think they can keep them, dude. Like they're going to have to do an internship there. But yeah, man, those are the guys to keep an eye on, guys. Let us know in the comments in the chat box, who would you like the Cowboys to have as defensive coordinator, either right now as an intern or at the end of the year? Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat box. We appreciate it, guys. Mike, let everybody know where they can find you. They haven't already, bro.
Right here, Cowboys Corner on the tubes, _ Cowboys Corner on the Elon Musk page. Hit me up, guys. We'll talk football, talking crazies on Saturdays. And then hit the notification bell because you never know when I'm going to do other shows and share that show too. So thank you guys for all the love and support. And recently, I don't know what's been going on, but a lot of subscribers have been coming in. So if you're new watching this on the replay, make sure you have that notification bell hit. It really helps out the channel. And it just gets some little bit of algorithm going for me.
That's what it is, bro. That's what it is. Pound that subscription buttons, likes, everything. We'll see you for the next one, guys. Peace out.
Peace.